Hi, this is Willpower Astrology, and I'm Will. All right, so today I didn't know how to talk about all these different things, so I'm going to talk about them all at once. So, what we had going on this last weekend or a couple days ago, I don't, what day is it? I don't even know. Um, but anywho, I got my little notebook, got my little coffee. Here we go. I'm going to be talking about the Sagittarius full moon that happened on May 26th. This was a total lunar eclipse. I didn't get to see it where I was at because it was setting and we had clouds, but I took a cool picture of it when it was the full moon before the eclipse had started through my neighbor's trees. So that was cute. And then also talking about the new moon in Gemini, which is going to be a solar eclipse. I think animal. It's not a total. It's like a partial. We're just getting like the in the shadow. So on May 26th, we had the full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius at 5 degrees of Sag. And so the basically what's going on, full moon in Sagittarius is highlighting in our charts where we like are striving for independence, for freedom of thought, for higher philosophy, justice. It's like it's the basis of our kind of like religious beliefs. It's the doctrine that our religious beliefs are based on. It's all this kind of like higher thinking. um, you know what I mean? I've developed into this person, and now I'm going out into the world and following my truth. I'm seeing this higher truth, and I'm living it. I'm bringing these things I've examined from myself out into the light and higher truth. So with the eclipse, what happens is that the lunar eclipse, that the Earth comes between the sun's light and the moon. So the moon gets eclipsed. So what it might feel like is that we have this striving for independence, but practical matters kind of come in the way of that. So maybe we'd like to go be free, but we can't, you know, I don't know what, quit our job and just go join the circus or whatever. Um, we have these great ideas, but maybe it's not, the ideas that get picked up. I don't know. Whatever. We have this stuff going on, and we feel like we're being our freedom or our thought process is kind of being hemmed in by these practical matters over the next little while. So with eclipses, they talk about like a lunar eclipse will kind of last for the effects of it will kind of last for 3 to 6 months until the next lunar eclipse. So the eclipse, when astrologers talk about eclipse season, this happens like twice a year because the moon's going around the earth and then the earth is going around the sun, and twice a year we get in this position where we are interacting with like shadow and the sun and the moon and all that. So the eclipses over the last couple of years, um, since let's see, June of 2020, have been in Sagittarius and Gemini. So we had the full moon lunar eclipse in Sag. We're gonna have the new moon solar eclipse in Gemini. So while that's happening, the eclipses are going on in like June and December, Gemini and Sagittarius. So then as they slowly switch, as the north node, which is where the moon crosses the Earth's orbit in front, kind of switches, and the eclipses kind of shift, we're going to go into this Scorpio Taurus energy starting this December. Following me? Okay. So the eclipses are these, I've heard them described as, so the eclipses follow the nodes, right? The nodes are where the moon's orbit is crossing. So the eclipses next year are going to be in May and November in Taurus and Scorpio season, and then it'll be like that for like a year and a half until it goes to the other ones, right? So are you still with me? Okay. So eclipses I've heard described as it's just a blessing. It's this new energy, just a new fruitful energy in your life, this new developing of stuff. I've heard them described as it's portals of energy that we're going through, and we're going into this next phase or whatever. And the way that makes the most sense to me is talking about them as like, so lunar eclipse lasting 3 to 6 months until we get to the next lunar eclipse, and a solar eclipse being, a bigger event or whatever, lasting us for the next 6 months to a year. So through the next eclipse phases, right? So a lunar eclipse going to take us on our emotional journey of we want to be free, but maybe we're hemmed in by practical concerns through to the next eclipse season, which is going to be our next eclipses are at the end of November, beginning of December, as the eclipses switch from from Sag and Gemini into Taurus and Scorpio. Okay. So right now we're in the north node of Gemini, and we're about to have the new moon in Gemini during Mercury retrograde in Gemini. So this time period, over the next couple of weeks, we've had the full moon wrapping up energy, wrapping down to the next new moon. So where are we needing to like be free, and where are we needing to find that expression? So when we get to the new moon in Gemini, this eclipse will take us through to the next year. So all of the stuff, all of the themes that are arising, how are we using our words? How are we expressing ourselves? What are our ideas? All the themes of the last year. We've gone from the north. If you've been following my videos, and you can follow this rigmarole I'm saying right now. We had the North Node in Cancer, where there was a major catastrophic event, major American identity crisis, major economic downturn, the biggest since the Great Depression. Fun times. Then we were in the North Node of Gemini since, June of 2020. Since May of 2020 is when it switched. So we've been in the wake of this crazy thing, and now this crazy events, this crazy stuff. And now it's all, who am I? Who am I? North Node in Gemini. Am I thinking right? What am I coming correct with my thoughts? Who am I? What am I doing? What am I saying? What are we talking about? What is this stuff? It's like lots of talking, lots of ideas, lots of this is who I am. Listen to me, listen to this. What am I trying to say here? So in this North Node, the whole thing about the North Node and why it's poignant to this series of eclipses and why I'm tying this all in. While we're in a North Node phase, we're headed toward this time and this Gemini energy, North Node and Gemini, where it's new ground. We don't know what to do. We don't know how to express ourselves. Gemini is about self-expression. My thoughts, my thinking, the words that come out of my mouth. Am I saying right? Am I coming correct? Like a whole new way of thinking about ourselves and how we talk about ourselves and how we, collectively do this. So with these eclipses, highlighting possibly South Node, Sag, lunar total eclipse, possibly feeling hemmed in, like our independence is being overshadowed by practical concerns. And then the new moon eclipse in Gemini, with the North Node in Gemini, with all the stuff in Gemini, during Mercury retrograde in Gemini, who am I? I'm maybe going to have to be reassessing how I'm expressing myself, how I'm saying things. Am I speaking correctly? Are you understanding me? It's like a lot of times during, especially, I'm going to talk about this in Mercury retrograde. A lot of times during Mercury retrograde, it's all about like communication between us. Did you understand me? Did I understand you? Are you coming right? Am I coming right? Like this Mercury retrograde is all about myself, my thoughts, my ideas. So this all happening with the North Node while we're all in this kind of massive like identity crisis together, right? Is quite significant because the events of the next couple of weeks resonate throughout the next 6 months to a year. And that's why eclipse season is kind of a thing, because it's these portals of time. If you're like marking time, okay, so from right now to 6 months, from right now to a year, how am I communicating? Am I coming right with my thoughts? Is this changing the way that I want to see things? Am I using my insights in a way that is helping me make meaningful changes in my life? You know what I mean? And it's very much like all this astrology stuff. I don't think the stars rule our fate and rule our future. I just think it's thinking about natural cycles recurring. And it's like, okay, well, I'm here now. Where do I want to be in 6 months? Where do I want to be in a year? Am I doing this? Do I want to be doing the same thing? Or do I want to think about, okay, I have this crisis of consciousness, and let me look at Sagittarius and Gemini in my chart. Am I thinking about stuff different? Am I doing different actions? You know what I mean? So anyways, the full moon in Sag, the new moon in Gemini, these eclipses are happening while the North Node is wrapping up in Gemini through to this December. So this is like a critical time. Am I thinking right? Am I saying right? Am I coming correct? Am I having to repeat myself a lot? You know what I mean? Because I said all the stuff I said already. You know, like anyway, let's talk about this. Let's just talk about while the North Node has been in Gemini. So it moved out of Cancer in June of 2020. So last summer, think about that. And then we had the eclipses in June of 2020 in Sagittarius and Cancer. Then the eclipses were so June and then end of November, beginning of December last year. And then this year it's right now, and it's going to be at the end of November, beginning of December. And then the North Node switches in January of 22 to Taurus. And then on our next set of eclipses, next summer, no, next set of eclipses in December, they're switching. So June to November, December. Right now, June to November, December. Like, you know what I mean? Think about time jumps. Did things happen in between those times? You know what I mean? It's thinking about cyclical, recurring things in a way that is meaningful or symbolic to you. Does it help you arrange your thoughts in such a way? You know what I mean? This is a very Gemini thing to parse out right now. It's not, oh, this magical timeline of and all the stars are telling me this thing. It's everything's just moving around, like, you know, everything's just moving in these circles, and it's like, oh, we're at this time, oh, we're at that time, oh, we're at that time, oh, we're at that time. Has all those times just blended together for you? Like, maybe we could have sparked some meaningful changes by just thinking about these timelines. You know what I mean? That's the magic of it. It's not magic. It's am I thinking about stuff in a timeline way? Am I using that timeline to help me do what I need to do? Am I, you know what I mean? I don't know. A lot of this astrology type gig, I feel like gets swept away in a lot of feelings and vibes and stuff. But it's like, what's the point of having insight if you're not going to take it to like make meaningful decisions for yourself, you know? So it's just very, I don't know what. Are your thoughts right? Are my thoughts right? I don't know. I'm figuring it out. Have I? Here's the thing that I've been thinking about with this eclipse cycle. With the South Node lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, full moon, am I gaining, personally, me, Willie, am I gaining independence at the expense of North Node Gemini local support? You know what I mean? Am I gaining my own independence by kind of alienating myself? It's on my mind, you know? Yeah, so eclipses. To me, if you're thinking about it in such a way of looking at timelines, eclipses are like, it's like a email with a flag on it. You know what I mean? It's like, read this, please. It's like, check out your timeline. Where you at? Check in. Boop, boop, boop. You know what I mean? Don't, because this could be a time where you like take a spark and make a fire. Or it could be a time where that spark just kind of goes because you just let it slip by. You know what I mean? It's all about the action that you take, how you're interpreting the symbols that line up in your own life and all that kind of gig. So I don't know what this video is about, but it's about the full moon in Sag. It's about the new moon in Gemini on June 10th. And it's about the eclipses, eclipse seasons is. It's about the North Node cycles of North Node moving into an area that we don't know or having to break new ground versus the South Node of staying in our comfort zone. Eclipse of North Node cycles, time, philosophy, just the ramblings of an insane person. Thanks for watching this, Phil. Have a good day.